How important is it for large Russian companies to have exposure to the global investment community?
Well, of course it is important because we're talking about the large corporates. Sometimes the leaders in the industry, like Rusal, for example, which is the largest aluminum company in the world. And of course, in order to be competitive, in order to have an access to world's largest financial markets, you need to have the structure of shareholders pretty much the same as your peers. So the global investors, institutional investors, located all around the world.
What are the attractions of listing internationally as opposed to domestically?
Well, I mean, there is a obvious interest from the Russian investors, but financial market in Russia is growing, but it's still much less than the developed financial markets in the world. So, of course, the amount of asset under management in Russia not as significant as in typical financial centers like US, Europe, and Asia.
What does listing imply for a company in terms of transparency, corporate governance, and investor relations? Does this involve a significant culture change for some Russian companies?
Well, I think it requires certain changes, of course, because the international corporate governance standards are established for quite a long time, and you need to apply with those requirements. You need to make a lot of disclosures. You need to make your business, your financial figures completely transparent to the company, to your investors. You need to explain your strategy. You need to meet with your investors quite often. So basically, we are almost every month on the road meeting with different investors, either in America or Europe or Asia, Australia. Canada is a very interesting market as well.
How vital is it that companies undertaking an IPO or SPO conduct an effective roadshow?
Well, I think the effective roadshow is a key. Of course, investors cannot rely only on the analyst research or just the overall understanding of the company. So all the investors making their own decision mostly based on the one-on-one meetings with the management to raise questions, to understand how management is capable, etc. And of course, the proper organized professional roadshow is a key for success.
Is the interest in Russian equity placements increasing, and why?
Well, Russian equity market is always quite an interesting opportunity for global investors, because clearly the global economic growth is currently mostly driven by the BRICS countries. Clearly China is the largest among them, and commodity sectors and commodity natural resources companies are quite interesting for investors. You can see that the largest IPO done recently, they're all coming from natural resources, including the forthcoming Glencore IPO, which is going to be the largest in the history of London Stock Exchange, for example, etc. So of course Russia is one of the markets which investors are very much focused on. And I'm not talking about the emerging market investors or Russian focused investors, but also the global commodity investors, global investment funds dealing with their natural resource companies. And you can see a lot of new demand coming from those markets we didn't see before, like Australia, for example, as I mentioned, Asia, Hong Kong, mainland China, etc.
For corporate Russia, how important is it that more companies are listed and Russian equities are more liquid?
I think for Russian companies, liquidity is quite an important because, of course, the big investors can only invest when you have enough liquidity in the market. So there are a number of ways to increase liquidity. You can sell more shares in the market, you can do SPO, or you can increase liquidity through being presented in different markets, just to increasing your investor base. So Rusal is currently our stock is available in Hong Kong. Depository receipts are listed in Paris, Euronext Stock Exchange, and also in Moscow through the first ever issued Russian depository receipts. So this is one of the instruments how to improve your liquidity and how to increase the interest from different investor groups.
Mm-hmm. Your recent SPO in Hong Kong.
IPO.
IPO, was it IPO? Sorry. How would you assess it? Do you think it was successful?
Well, generally, of course, it was successful because we had quite a significant oversubscription. We reached the targeted price of shares. We got quite a diversified investor base, and actually we have improved significantly since the IPO. For example, the first trading day and today's market price, the share performance is above 30%, and also Rusal is currently the 22nd largest company listed in Hong Kong by market cap. So we're quite ahead of Chalco, which is the second largest aluminium company now appearing in China. So it is a successful IPO, and we think that more and more Russian companies are interested in this market.
Today, Moscow, Hong Kong, Paris. Do you have any plans to go further?
Well, we're considering some other potential listing venues for the future. One of the ideas is to be present in North America, but it's a bit early to give you any specific stock exchange.
But maybe some hint of timing and why you consider it?
Well, again, we're visiting our investors globally quite often, and we're trying to accommodate their demand. So if we see a lot of investors who cannot buy the shares listed in Hong Kong and interested in Rusal being traded in North America, for example, we should seriously consider it. There is no specific timing for that. It requires certain homework and discussion with your investors. So if there is any positive development, we'll definitely announce it to the market.